Do you want to know what else keeps me up at night? The UK stampede to foreign countries like Turkey, for example, on the promise of cheap surgery. Cosmetic, bariatric, you name it, they'll do the surgery. You'll be able to find complete package deals with fabulous poolside recovery pictures, and it will all be for a fraction of the cost of getting surgery privately in the UK, and I get it, especially nowadays. The NHS waiting list is still a good 12 years in the making, and to be honest, the criteria for that is so stringent that most of us won't qualify for NHS either weight loss drugs or surgery. But also, times are really hard. So we are all scraping together every single penny just to get by. But can you actually put a price on your health, your life? So, okay, you go over to Turkey, the sun is shining, you check in, all is hunky-dory, you're prepped for surgery, you wake up in a recovery room. What happens next? What about all the stuff that is not swamping social media? The life-changing complications that can arise when surgery goes wrong or when you're discharged from hospital too soon. Sepsis, leaks, DVT. Not just the life-changing complications, but what if you die? Let's say the numbers out loud. A BBC investigation identified 7 Britons who died after weight loss surgery just in Turkey and since 2019. 7 human beings with families gone. And that's just bariatrics. The UK Foreign Office has said it's aware of more than 25 British nationals who've died in Turkey also since 2019. That was following other medical procedures. Later reporting has put that toll at around 28 deaths by March 2024. This isn't a blip, it's a pattern. Doctors here have been crystal clear. The NHS is picking up the pieces. Wards are filling with people returning from overseas ops with infections, leaks, wound breakdown, even sepsis. And the elective lists get cancelled so they can treat the emergencies that we should never have had. So when people tell me that Turkey is cheap, I want to scream at them. Cheap up front can be catastrophic later, sometimes fatal, sometimes a life sentence of complications. Is that what you want? You don't see the after because there's no influencer deal for tube feeds, PICC lines and revision surgeries. I've heard stories of people going abroad for surgery, come back thinking they have had a sleeve, seek further advice in the UK because somehow it's not working, only to find out that they have never had a sleeve, or a bypass that on further investigation bears no resemblance whatsoever to how a bypass should look. Now, these can be corrected, but that means you've got to go under the knife twice, unnecessarily. And let's make no bones about this. These fixes are going to have to be very big ops. There's even been a story of one person who flew all the way to India for surgery, and that surgeon made 2 cuts into the stomach so that they had scars, and that was it. No surgery whatsoever. Very happy to take their money, though. So how cheap is this surgery really? Let me be crystal clear. Not all surgeons in Turkey or Bulgaria or India or elsewhere are charlatans. There are excellent, well-trained surgeons in Turkey. They are JCI accredited hospitals and they're doing good work. But even if your operation is technically perfect, 2 things can still put you in danger: flying home too soon and thin or non-existent aftercare. So if you have your op today and you're on a plane tomorrow, how safe is that? There are long periods of immobility right after surgery which raise your risk of deep vein thrombosis, which we know as DVT, and a pulmonary embolism, which we know as PE. And that's clots in the legs that can travel to the lungs. And UK clinical advice is explicit. NHS hospital leaflets and clinics warn that long journeys, and we're not talking overnight flights here, we're talking journeys of 4 hours and more, that's Turkey, In the weeks after surgery, they double the risk of DVT, and many advise avoiding long-haul flights for up to 4 weeks and also using compression stockings, walking and hydration if you must travel. Now, this is a mouthful for me, but I'm going to give it a go. The British Association of Aesthetic, Plastic Surgeons, Cosmetic Tourism Guidelines from September 2023, they go further. For higher risk procedures, they recommend patients stay in the destination country 1 to 2 weeks, even 2 to 4 weeks after surgery. They recommend that they have at least one post-op review by the operating surgeon before travel, and they ensure that they have booked follow-ups once home. So, being put on a plane the next day, in my opinion, that's the opposite of best practice. But okay, if you're still considering surgery abroad, please verify the surgeon and the hospital. Look for recognised board certification and international accreditation. Arrange in-person consults. That means not with a sales agent. Build in recovery time. Budget for recovery time. Do not accept next day flights, please. Push for 7 to 10 days minimum, and even longer for the abdominal work, and ensure that you get a documented post-op review before you fly. Get the aftercare in writing as well. Who's going to remove your drains? Who's going to prescribe the antibiotics? Who's going to see you at 1 and 2 weeks, and again at 6 weeks, 6 months? And be careful about your insurance, because a standard travel insurance often does not cover elective procedures. You need to take out a specialist cover that includes complications and medical repatriation. And also check current local government health advice in the country you're travelling to. Okay, and here's another thing that really gets my goat. Fake GLP-1s, fake weight loss injections, skinny pens that you can find online that don't make you go through any medical questions. In fact, they have zero medical oversight. UK regulators have found that these pens do not contain any semaglutide or tirzepatide or any of the drug that you would expect to find in them. Instead, they have found insulin, pure insulin. And when that is taken, it is a recipe for a sudden catastrophic blood sugar crash. Insulin exposure is highly dangerous. You get hypoglycemic shock, you can even go into a coma. And there are hundreds of counterfeit Ozempic, Saxenda, Wegovy and Mounjaro pens that have been seized in the UK. And there are countless warnings about this from the MHRA. So if you are buying these drugs online or from a man in a pub car park, be sensible, be careful. It's almost guaranteed you're not going to get what you're paying for, and you are putting your own life at risk. The bigger the demand for these drugs, the more these fake drugs will become available. So please, guys, you need to be careful out there. And if you think that I'm over-egging this, look up a lady called Michelle Sword. She's a UK mum of 2 who injected what she thought was a weight loss pen. Moments after injecting herself, she literally collapsed into seizures in front of her daughter. And clinicians later confirmed that the pen she used contained pure insulin. Now, fortunately for her, her daughter had the foresight to call her mum's best friend, so she's lucky to be alive, and her kids are lucky to still have their mum. Safety isn't something you can outsource to a package price, a hashtag, or a knockoff pen. Safety is a regulated system, qualified prescribers, verified supply chains, multidisciplinary care, and real aftercare when things get messy. If you're listening to this and you're thinking, but my friend flew to Bulgaria and was fine, good. I want your friend to be fine, I truly do. But for every sunny reel, there is an ICU bed that doesn't get posted about. For every discount, every false promises, there's a grieving family out there who never thought it would be theirs, suffering such a devastating loss. Do not gamble your life to save a couple of grand. Do not buy medication from strangers on the internet. And if anyone, clinic coordinator, influencer, tells you that the risks are minimal, well then you ask them to put their registration, regulator and indemnity on the table in writing. If you've already had your surgery abroad and you don't feel right, go to hospital. People think for some reason that the NHS will not treat you if you've had your surgery abroad. They will. There is no shame. Do not delay. They will treat you. And if you're using GLP-1s, get them legally prescribed from registered UK prescribers. Don't get them dispensed by anybody other than a real pharmacy. And if you can't verify the supply chain, it's simple. Don't inject it. One more time for you people in the back. Cheap can cost you everything. Keep it honest, keep it human, and above all, keep it off.